To prepare for the interview with your supervisor concerning the potential removal of a carrier for poor attendance, focusing on ensuring that proper concurrence occurred as outlined in Article 16.8 and that all principles of just cause under Article 16 were followed, here are some structured questions to consider. General overview of the situation. 1. Initial assessment. What specific attendance issues have led to the consideration of removing the carrier? 2. Past disciplinary actions. What progressive disciplinary actions have been taken prior to considering removal? Article 16. Just cause principles. 3. Adequate warning. Was the carrier adequately warned about the consequences of further absences? 4. Rule enforcement. Are attendance policies enforced uniformly among all employees? 5. Investigation fairness. Can you detail the investigation process conducted to ensure fairness and objectivity? 6. Evidence of guilt. What evidence supports the decision that the carrier's absenteeism was within their control and therefore subject to discipline? 7. Rules reasonableness. How does the attendance policy apply to this case, and do you believe it is a reasonable expectation for all employees? 8. Severity of discipline. Why is removal deemed the appropriate disciplinary action in this case? 9. Past record. How does the carrier's overall employment record factor into the decision for removal? Article 16.8. Proper concurrence. 10. Initial concurrence steps. At what point in the disciplinary process did you concurrence from higher level management regarding the potential removal? 11. Higher level review. Which higher level manager reviewed the case, and what was their assessment? 12. Evidence review. How was the evidence of the carrier's absenteeism reviewed by you and higher level management to ensure just cause for removal? Final decision making. Who ultimately made the decision to proceed with the removal, and what factors most influenced this decision? Additional considerations. 14. Mitigating circumstances. Were there any mitigating circumstances considered regarding the carrier's attendance issues, e.g., medical conditions, family emergencies? 15. Alternative solutions. Prior to deciding on removal, were alternative corrective actions considered, such as additional coaching, flexible scheduling, or seeking medical documentation? 16. Communication with the employee. How was the potential for removal communicated to the carrier, and were they given an opportunity to respond or correct their attendance issues? These questions are designed to ensure a thorough review of the process leading up to the decision to remove a carrier for poor attendance, focusing on adherence to the principles of just cause as outlined in Article 16, and ensuring that proper concurrence processes were followed as required by Article 16.8. When interviewing the concurring official, especially if this official also serves as the formal A representative for management, it is essential to probe into both the impartiality of the review process and the safeguarding of the carrier's due process rights. Below are key questions to consider asking the concurring official. Regarding concurrence. 1. Basis for concurrence. What specific evidence or factors led you to concur with the proposed removal of the carrier for poor attendance? 2. Process and criteria used. Can you describe the process and criteria you used to evaluate the case and reach a concurrence? 3. Evaluation of mitigating factors. Were any mitigating factors presented by the carrier or discovered during your review, and how were these factors considered in your decision to concur? 4. Consistency with past cases. How does this decision align with previous cases of similar nature? Was there consistency in applying the disciplinary actions? Potential conflict of interest. 5. Roles and responsibilities. Can you explain how you balance your roles as both the concurring official and the formal A representative for management without compromising fairness? 6. Ensuring impartiality. What measures are taken to ensure impartiality and objectivity in your dual roles, particularly in this case? Impact on due process. Do you believe that your dual role could impact the carrier's due process rights? Why or why not? 8. Alternative measures for fairness. Are there any alternative measures or safeguards in place to address potential conflicts of interest and ensure the carrier's due process rights are upheld? Additional considerations. 9. Consultation with other officials. Were other officials or departments consulted during your review for concurrence? How did their input inform your decision? 10. Precedent and policy adherence. How does this case align with the national agreement, JCAM guidelines, and previous arbitration decisions related to attendance and disciplinary actions? 11. Feedback and resolution opportunities. Was the carrier given adequate opportunity to provide their side of the story, present evidence, or propose alternative resolutions before the concurrence was made? 12. Reflection on process improvement. Reflecting on this case, do you see areas for improvement in the concurrence process to better safeguard carriers' rights and ensure fair and just outcomes? Addressing these questions can help clarify the concurring official's role and actions in the disciplinary process, assess the fairness and objectivity of the proceedings, and determine if there's a potential conflict of interest that could affect the carrier's due process rights.